Welcome to the press conference. I'd like to issue two messages. Premier of the State Council Li Qiang will attend the 16th annual meeting of the new champions in Tianjin from June 24th to June 25th. Premier Li Qiang will attend the opening plenary and deliver a special address, meet with press, foreign guests, and have a conversation with representatives of the foreign business community. President of Ecuador, Noboa, Prime Minister of Singapore, Lawrence Wong, Prime Minister of Kyrgyzstan, Kassim Aliyev, and Prime Minister of Senegal, Sonko, and Prime Minister of Vietnam, Pham Minh Chinh, will attend the AMNC. Over 1,700 representatives from the political, business, and academic and media communities from over 90 countries and regions will also take part in AMNC. At the invitation of the member of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Wang Yi, Armenia's Prime Minister Arayant Mirzoyan will pay official visit to China from June 24th to 27th. Now you may raise your questions.
谢谢发言人。总台央视记者提问：中方刚刚发布了李强总理将
CCTV to follow up on your announcement that Premier Li Qiang will attend the 16th annual meeting of the new champions. What does China expect to achieve through the event? The annual meeting of the new champions has so far been successfully held 15 times and become an important platform for promoting foreign exchanges and enhancing practical cooperation. As we speak, the world economic growth remains anemic, and unilateralism and trade protectionism are on the rise, dealing a heavy blow to multilateral trading system. Against this backdrop, the number of registered guests for this year's meeting reached a new high, which once again shows the will of all parties in upholding economic globalization and the free trade system, as well as their positive attitude toward enhancing economic and trade exchanges and cooperation with China. We look forward to working with participating guests from all countries to inject more stability and certainty to the world economy. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。中新社记者提问：据报道，俄罗斯、中国、巴基斯坦
China News Service is reported that Russia, China, and Pakistan have proposed a draft resolution to the UN Security Council. Can you brief us on that? The U.S. attacks on Iran's nuclear facilities seriously violate the purposes and principles of the UN Charter and has exacerbated tensions in the Middle East. The UN Security Council cannot sit idly by. China, Russia, and Pakistan proposed a draft resolution to the UN Security Council calling for an immediate and unconditional ceasefire, protection of civilians, respect for international law, and engagement in dialogue and negotiation. Together, we sent out the message of justice that reflects the strong call from the international community. We hope that Council members can jointly support the draft resolution and enable the Security Council to play its role for the maintenance of international peace and security. Next one, please.
Question for another agency. Yes.
阿纳多卢昨天，中方谴责了美国袭击伊朗的核设施。现在，全世界
Trilateral attack on a sovereign country yesterday, and a dangerous precedent of attacking nuclear facilities. What do you make all of this? What is China's comment on this? Thank you.
China has illustrated its stance clearly. Attacking the nuclear facilities under the safeguards of IAEA seriously violates the principles and purposes of the UN Charter and international law. China urges parties to the conflict to prevent the escalation of the situation and firmly rejects the spillover of the battlefield and get back on the track of political settlement. China is willing to work with relevant sides to enhance coordination and communication, pull strength, uphold justice, and play a constructive role of restoring peace in the Middle East. Next question, please.
谢谢发言人。北京青年报记者提问：我们关注到，近日从土库曼斯坦接返自伊朗撤离中国公民的临时航班已经顺利抵达国内，想问一下，中方从伊朗和以色列撤离的行动最新进。
We noted that the temporary flight evacuating Chinese from nationals from Iran has arrived in China from Turkmenistan. Can you share us with the information? Acting on the decisions and plans of Party Central Committee, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, China diplomatic and consular missions in Iran and other countries, the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation Administration worked together for the evacuation of 3,125 Chinese nationals from Iran to safety. Among them, there are a 10-year-old baby, a 70-year-old senior, and citizens from Hong Kong and Taiwan. As the Chinese nationals who are willing to leave Iran have all been safely evacuated. The large-scale and well-ordered evacuation of Chinese personnel in Iran has been completed by the Chinese government. At the same time, China's embassy in Israel helped and organized the evacuation of over 500 Chinese nationals from Israel to safety, and helped some nationals from the UK, India, and Poland safely evacuate. During the evacuation, countries including Iran, Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan, Armenia, Turkey, Iraq, the UAE, Oman, Kuwait, Egypt, and Jordan offered China valuable support. We express sincere appreciation for that. Still, some Chinese nationals choose to stay in Iran and Israel. Our ministry reminded them to stay safe. Our colleagues in Chinese diplomatic and consular missions in Iran and Israel have stayed on their post and will continue to do everything possible to offer Chinese nationals their assistance. Next question, please.
谢谢第一位中央卫视记者。
China Arab TV. Yesterday, Iran's parliament backed the closing of the Strait of Hormuz, but it's up to Iran's Supreme National Security Council to make the decision. What's China's response, and did China have phone calls with the Iranian side?
The Persian Gulf and nearby waters are an important route for international trade in goods and energy. Keeping the region safe and stable serves the common interests of the international community. China calls on the international community to step up effort to promote de-escalation of the conflict and prevent the regional turmoil from having a greater impact on global economic growth. Next question, please.
发言人好，中国日报提问：近日，中国、孟加拉国、巴基斯坦三方赴外。
The China, Pakistan, Bangladesh Vice Foreign Minister, Foreign Secretary meeting was held in Kunming, Yunnan. Can you share with some information? On June 19th, the China, Bangladesh, Pakistan Vice Foreign Minister, Foreign Secretary meeting was held in Kunming, Yunnan. Chinese Vice Foreign Minister Sun Weidong, Bangladesh's Acting Foreign Secretary Ruhul Alam Siddiq, and Pakistan's Additional Foreign Secretary for Asia-Pacific, Imran Siddiqui attended the meeting, and Pakistani Foreign Secretary Amma Balak joined the first phase of the discussion via video link. Bangladesh and Pakistan are China's good neighbors, friends, and partners. They're also China's key cooperation partner in high-quality Belt and Road cooperation. As important countries in the Global South and the region, the three countries share the mission to achieve national rejuvenation and modernization. The trilateral cooperation between the three countries is in the interests of their people and conducive to regional peace, stability, development, and prosperity. The meeting was fruitful in four aspects. First, the three sides agreed to work together under the principles of good neighborliness and friendship, equality and mutual trust, openness and inclusiveness, shared development and mutual benefit, and focus on growing the economy and making people's lives better. Second, the three sides agreed to discuss and implement cooperation programs in 12 areas, namely industry, trade, maritime affairs, water resources, climate change, agriculture, human resources, think tank, public health, education, culture, and youth. Third, the three sides will establish a working group at the Director General level and turn the vision of cooperation into reality in a result-oriented way. Fourth, not targeting any third party, the trilateral cooperation upholds true multilateralism and open regionalism and aims to improve the livelihood of people in this region. Next question, please.
Just a brief follow-up.
追问关于霍尔木兹的海峡的问题，卢比奥在与福克斯新闻进行采访的时候提到，希望中方能够阻止伊朗关闭霍尔木兹海峡，中方是否有这样的计划？外交部能否提供更多的信息？中方在斡旋方面能够发挥什么样的作用？
Regarding your question on Hormuz Strait, I've answered your question just now. Regarding your question between China and Iran, I want to stress that China maintained communication with Iranian side on the current situation. Currently, member of the Political Committee of the CPC Central Committee, Foreign Minister Wang Yi, held a phone call with Iranian Foreign Minister. China is willing to work with relevant sides, including Iran, to enhance cooperation, enhance communication, and play a constructive role to destabilize the situation. Next question, please.
Thank you, spokesperson. Ukraine News Agency. My question.
梧桐社是关于俄乌问题的问题。佩斯科夫提到，俄罗斯
This means that Russia will continue the war and doesn't seek peace, and it's set on escalation war and occupying more Ukrainian territories. Ukraine, I remind, declared its readiness for a ceasefire more than 3 months ago, but is forced to defend itself from massive Russian attacks. From Peskov's statement follows that Russia will ignore all international efforts to end the war, including initiatives of its closest partners, China and Brazil. I'd like to ask how the Foreign Ministry can comment on Peskov's statement and whether it's appropriate to talk about ceasefire and negotiations if Russia refuses to stop the war, if it has an advantage in battlefield. Thank you.
关于乌克兰危机，中方的立场是一贯的、明确的。
Clear. China always believes that dialogue and negotiation is the only viable way out the crisis. We hope parties will remain committed to the political settlement of the crisis and work together for de-escalation. China stands ready to work with the international community to continue playing a constructive role for resolving the crisis and realizing lasting peace. Next question, please.
Question for Anadolu Agency.
阿纳多卢，霍尔木兹海。
Half of China's oil imports are passing through the Hormuz Strait. Do you have any alternative plans if in case of a disruption from the conflict there? And the second, I have another question. You mentioned about a phone call between Mr. Wang Yi and Iranian counterpart. Was it after the attacks, U.S. attacks? Because we haven't noticed any announcement about this conversation. Thank you.
Regarding your question on the Hormuz Strait, I have answered that. Regarding on your question on the communication between China and Iran, after Israel's attack on Iran, Foreign Minister Wang Yi has held phone call with Iranian Foreign Minister. Next question, please.
谢谢迪拜中央卫视再次提问。
China Arab TV. According to sources, Iranian Foreign Minister have arrived in Moscow and will hold a meeting with President Putin. Will Foreign Minister of Iran arrive in China, and do you have any information to share with us?
Regarding on the communication between China and Iran, I've answered that question. China is willing to maintain communication with Iran and other parties and play a constructive role for the de-escalation of the situation. Next question, please. Any other questions? That'll be the end of today's press conference. Thank you very much.